There are a lot of issues that Sullivan's Island Mayor Pat O'Neill is tackling, from the Maritime Forest to a new fire station. Today, I talk one-on-one with the mayor for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Sullivan's Island Mayor Pat O'Neill, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. It's good to be back, Quintin.
You're welcome. I ran into obviously you a couple of weeks ago down at the city market, and I know you've been extremely busy on a lot of projects and a lot of programs for the town of Sullivan's Island. What's new? What's now on the town of Sullivan's Island?
What's new?
Yes, sir.
Well, we've got a number of projects going on. A major construction project is that we're basically building a new fire station. We kept the structure of the old building, not the skeleton of it, so to speak, the frame, but added on to it, and we're reconfiguring it greatly so that our firefighters will have much better quarters when they're on duty. And part of that project is also construction of a storage and maintenance facility right behind the fire station. So we'll have a place to keep most of our equipment out of the salt air when we can. It'll also be a place for our fleet manager to do his maintenance work on the town vehicles and some other things, other storage for different departments for the town. I think that will greatly improve our ability to serve the public.
Yes, sir. And how soon do we expect this particular fire station to be open to the public?
We hope to open it in September sometime.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is this particular project on budget?
Yes, it is. It's on budget and on time. Of course, there's always a few twists and turns that you don't anticipate, but no, it's on balance, on budget.
Now, what are those twists and turns that you all are dealing with right now, leading up to September?
I'm not aware of any right now. Just trying to finish up the work that's been started. The exterior of the building, the siding is nearly completed. There's a lot of work going on in the interior, as you might imagine. A lot of the casework and cabinetry and so on is being built right now. But it'll be a much, much better facility than was the old one.
And talk to me more about that, because how are you all really dealing with growth, with smart growth, as far as building this new fire station?
Yeah, the town is not going to get much bigger than it is. Obviously, geographically, we're limited. Right. And the island is pretty much built out right now. So, we're looking at a relatively stable population. But of course, the requirements of a local government are increasing all the time with federal and state regulations, and also people's expectations about services change over time. For example, when the fire station was built, not long after Hugo, which was in 1989, we only had one firefighter at a time on duty. Huh. And of course, now we have three, so we have to accommodate that. We have an excellent volunteer fire and rescue squad, without whom we would be spending a lot more money to keep the town safe. And our volunteers are really committed to what they do, and they work hand in glove with the professional staff as well. So.
Now, how much money are you guys spending right now with those free firefighters who actually serve this particular town with the fire services?
Well, it's like I said, three at a time, but we have obviously a larger staff than that. On top of my head, I can't tell you what the personnel costs are for that particular department. But whatever it is, it's a bargain.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear about that. Let me turn to the Maritime Forest. Obviously, a couple of months ago, this was a headline in the local newspaper. Sullivan's Island leaders say Maritime Forest could mean prison time if suspects identified. Let me ask you this, Mayor. Have any suspects been identified thus far?
That investigation is still ongoing. It's not going on as vigorously as it was initially because, obviously you do the bulk of the work initially. But we're still hoping to get more information on who perpetrated this. And it was a terrible thing that was done to public property. Probably more than 80 trees were just cut, just a clear swath through the Maritime Forest. And that's property that belongs to the town of Sullivan's Island, not to an individual. We're still hoping to get more information. If anybody who's watching this has any information that might be of use, I'd ask them to please call our police non-emergency number, which is SIES 200, or call town hall and ask for the police department. Would be very grateful for any information that anybody can provide.
Now, at this point, Mayor, how do you all not know who's actually responsible?
That's hard to say. I mean, what we have to do, of course, is find out information that can lead to an arrest and conviction. And I always tell people a suspicion is not a conviction. So we have to have not only a sense of who may have done it, but also have to acquire the evidence to demonstrate that they did indeed do it.
Do you all have the evidence?
I'm sorry?
Do you all have the evidence?
Well, we have the evidence that something terrible was done. But trying to connect the dots, of course, back to an individual is what we have to do.
Why can't you all go to all tree cutting landscaping services to see if the suspect hires someone to do it, and if so, who?
Well, I'm not able to comment on the specifics of that investigation, Quintin. That's up to our police officers, and I'm sure they've done everything that you might imagine they should do to try to get that information.
And I got to push it a little bit, Mayor, but were there no cameras or any homes nearby that could have recorded this?
Apparently, I'm not aware of any video that we have, Quintin.
Oh, okay.
But again, I'm not privy to all the details of that investigation, nor should I be.
Sure.
Police
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Will the town have an arborist value each tree to see that when the suspect is found, they can pay that value?
I'm sure we can have that determination made if it's not been made already.
Now, would the value of the loss allow for more appropriate criminal charges?
You know, I'm not sure that it would. Again, it's a legal matter. I can't really comment on that. If what you're asking is, does the dollar amount of the damage that was done move it into a different kind of category? And that's a function of the state law that lays out the different type of offenses that a municipality can charge somebody with.
Now, speaking of your police department, Mayor, what is going on? You hear about lawsuits, you hear about allegations. What is going on?
Well, there is a lawsuit pending involving our police chief and another lawsuit involving a former police officer. In both of those cases, those are personnel matters and it's pending litigation.
Right.
And so, regrettably for this interview, I'm not able to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, how many lawsuits have the town received since 2020?
Since 2020, I don't have a count. You know, it's easy to file a lawsuit, and people out here don't hesitate to do that sometimes. But I can't give you a specific count. Some of these things are just, kind of not the ones you mentioned, but
right.
Some lawsuits tend to be sort of routine kind of stuff.
Now, why is the police chief still employed with your town?
Well, we did a proper investigation when we first got a complaint, and we looked into it all and studied the matter and concluded that he would continue to be fit to serve and to do a good job, which he's been doing.
Now, since these particular separate incidents, Mayor, have you all hired an ombudsman for the town of Sullivan's Island?
No, we don't have a position for an ombudsman.
Will you?
It's not on the radar right now. No, if what you're talking about is somebody who can represent the town to citizens who might have a complaint, we certainly have people who can do that. People can contact the town hall staff about any of a number of things. They can go to the town administrator. They can certainly come to the mayor, and people do. We also are getting ready to set up a new system called CityBot, which is a complete system for citizens in the community to interact with the town, to get information, to give us information, to report problems, and so that we can more efficiently kind of distribute the reports that we get to the right department. So it's sort of one-stop shopping. It's not an individual, but it's a system. Really looking forward to getting that started, to seeing how it functions.
Now, for the employees who have complaints like what has happened in the past, Will you employ an ombudsman for that?
Well, no, we have a mechanism for employees who have complaints or concerns to voice those concerns and to have them addressed. And we've always done that. We'll continue to do that. That doesn't require a separate individual.
Now, have you hired an outside firm to investigate the police department internally?
Not to investigate the department as a whole, no.
Now, how many policy changes, Mayor, have you been able to make since these two separate incidents within the town of Sullivan's Island with the former deputy town administrator and the police chief?
Well, we've just continued to do what we've always done, and that's to make sure we keep the lines of communication open with all of the staff. We have regular training on important matters, be it sexual harassment, be it safety, all of those kinds of things. So it's an ongoing process.
Now,
which we've been following for some time anyway.
Now, how much training have these employees gotten thus far recently? Any new training?
Well, I can't tell you what specifically has happened just in the last few months. I don't stay on top of it on a day-to-day basis like that. We have a regular system for different kinds of instruction, and the staff follows that plan or that calendar throughout the year.
Now, let me go really right next door to Still Park, obviously. That's undergoing a master plan coming soon. And I know that the town is going to be obviously using public input and proposals on this. How many proposals has the town received thus far for this particular park?
The deadline hasn't passed yet. I think it's a week or two from now. So I'll be in a better position to tell you then how many proposals we have received.
Now,
we've had the preliminary meeting with the town administrator for people who were considering putting in proposals, and I don't remember how many people turned up for that.
Now, when exactly will the public input begin?
Well, first we have to select the design team, and that'll be based in part on the process that they lay out for us. That's part of their proposal. How are they going to go about it? What's their level of expertise with designing parks and other recreational facilities? What's their experience as far as engaging the public and the citizens and getting input about what they'd like to see that park to be like?
Now, what are the existing conditions of this particular park?
I think the park is in pretty good shape. It's old. It's showing its age a little bit, and that's why we're doing this.
Right.
But we've got tennis courts that have been resurfaced not too long ago. In fact, we right now are in the process of installing new lighting for the tennis and basketball courts. So that'll be an improvement.
Now, what figure ground analysis has been done on the park thus far?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Yeah, what figure ground analysis has been done on this particular park?
Well, that's what we're looking for proposals for.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the park needs some work, and we're trying to go about it as intelligently as we can. That's why we want to try to get a master plan. We may or may not implement an entire master plan all at once, but it gives us a roadmap to follow.
And I've sat in that park many times. I love it a lot. But what are the challenges and opportunities for this particular park?
Well, I think one of the opportunities is, it's right in the middle of our commercial district, and it's a vibrant part of the island, certainly. It's a focal point for the community and for visitors as well. So I think that's a real strength. People pass it all the time, so it's well known. Challenges, of course, we've got a fixed amount of land and increasing numbers of demands that people might want to place on it. We have a lot of different user groups who, want their recreation needs met. One of the things that's come up in the last few years has been pickleball.
Yes.
And so, as has been the case all over the country, it's quickly developed a pretty enthusiastic following on the island as well. So that we've got pickleball players and tennis players, and so we need to accommodate all of those groups.
And speaking of which, has a usage study been done on the park?
Not currently, no.
Okay.
We do a usage study every time we drive by it. And of course, remember, it's right next door to Town Hall.
Right. That's exactly right.
It gets a lot of attention from our staff. They're pretty aware of what's going on there all the time. So.
Yes, and it's always used winter, summer. I've been out there for both. It's always packed out there. What will be the concept development for this park?
Well, again, we're looking for ideas for that. We want something, obviously, that'll be appropriate to the uses that the town residents want from it.
Right.
Obviously for children, but not solely for children.
Right.
But remember, the school is just a block away.
That's right.
So that's another good thing about the location, is it's available for after-school use by school children, and many of them do take advantage of that, as they should.
They sure do. I was surprised to see a lot of them out there during the winter too, when it was so cold. But let me ask you, would there be an expansion of those tennis courts?
I'm not sure about that. Again, that's what we're trying to get information on. We're trying to get a plan.
Yeah. Now, what are the budget estimates for this particular park?
I don't know that either yet. We need to see what the prices are that are going to come in.
And of course, when you
actually, what we're doing is requesting proposals rather than bids. So we would first select the firm that looks like it's got the team that looks like they can do the best job, and then we would have to negotiate the cost of getting the plans from them. And obviously, part of the plans that we would want to get would include some estimates of the cost of doing the actual work.
Now, this is far out there, Mayor. I know you all don't have the estimates for this, but how much will this actually cost the taxpayers in the end?
Again, I don't know. We're trying to get that information.
Okay. Now, turning over to some other news, obviously, about parking and golf carts and this and that. How many golf cart only spaces are there on the island of Sullivan's Island?
I can't give you an actual count. We've been placing some of those in different locations on the island as we've seen a need for it. Certainly, the golf carts are a popular means of transportation for the residents on the island. And so we're trying to accommodate them. And you can fit, golf carts in some places where you might not want to place actual automobiles. One of the things that's important, of course, is that everybody remember, whether it's on Sullivan's Island or anywhere else, that golf carts are controlled by state laws. If you're going to drive a golf cart, you have to have a valid driver's license in your possession and registration for the golf cart. And so I think, sometimes people forget that these are serious and regulated vehicles.
Now, Mayor, let me ask you, how do you all justify utilizing state roads to benefit only residents with these golf carts?
Well, we let anybody who wants to drive a golf cart on the road do so. The fact of the matter, though, is that in practical terms, it's going to be the residents who have the golf carts here, because you can't drive a golf cart down the causeway or down the Isle of Palms connector to get here.
That's right.
But anybody who is staying on the island temporarily is free to rent a golf cart from one of the services. And obviously, we provide parking for anybody and everyone who comes out here in a regular vehicle.
Yes.
We've got a tremendous inventory of parking spaces available. There's a belief that we don't have enough parking out here, but in actuality, I can never remember the actual number, but we've got lots and lots of parking spaces for visitors.
Now, what will that inventory for parking look like in the next 5 years?
I don't see any reason for it to change drastically.
Yeah. Well, Sullivan's Island Mayor, Pat O'Neill, thank you for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Likewise.